Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So recently I have been talking a little bit more about Brics more than often, right? Like this has been a big focus point because as we really look at things happening, there is a major shift. Back in August, I actually put out a post regarding Brics, and I've also talked about XRP and even the XRP ledger, mainly outside of Ripple, right? Because I feel as though so many people look at just Ripple and say, oh, well, they won't utilize XRP or they won't even tap into Ripple at all because of this, that, whatever the case may be. But the thing is that when we really look at what's happening around the world, payments are changing. The way payments are made are changing. Even payment networks are changing. Swift has been dying for a while. One of the big things that I just recently reported on is the fact that the Swift head of payments and also the Citi head of payments with the Ripple head of payments were recently in a conference discussing the new rails for the new world. And when we think about that, right, like a new world is approaching us, and it's going to be heavily dominated by new payment networks, new payment vehicles, bridge currencies, things like that. Like everything is changing, and I get it, right? It's so easy to get caught up in the short term and say, oh, well, you know, I'm done with XRP. I'm jumping into meme coins because they're moving and I want to make money, and everyone wants to make money. We all want to make money, right? But the most amount of money in this space is going to be made over the next couple years. That's where money is made, utility. Once we start to see trillions of dollars flowing on-chain through tokenization endeavors, once we start to see institutions building out on these DLTs, that's where all of the money actually lies. Right now, what we're seeing and what we have been seeing around the space in terms of like the moves to the upside, guys, they're minuscule in the long-term path here. Once utility is realized in, it's game over. And I want everyone to realize that right now. The games end when utility begins. But I said people are so quick to write off XRP being utilized by the Brics, but it makes zero sense. The XRP ledger and XRP itself is fully decentralized. Anyone can utilize both the ledger and the digital currency. Brics have very ambitious plans. These plans require a new generation of payment technology. Do you know where they could tap into that kind of technology? It's extremely important to focus on what's important regarding Brics, de-dollarization, and the major pushback against the US-dominated payment networks. We are on the edge of a tectonic shift in the world of finance, and yes, we are, and it's very, very big, and a lot of people are still writing this, they're still overlooking it as well, and they're like, oh, well, this isn't going to be that big, it's just all nonsense, it's all noise, it's this, that, whatever. But realistically speaking, right, like we need conflict. We need something there. We need a problem because we have the solution already. I personally see a lot of the noise with Brics. It could very well be a psyop, right? It could be something to guide our attention away from the full-on target. But I said this is a change that happens every 100 years. The reserve currency status is in question. We are seeing the rise of new age technology. All of this is aligning perfectly. I truly feel bad for those who are getting impatient now and will soon be shaken out. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity and we are at the forefront of it. Now, outside of this, right, we've been seeing a lot of talk behind an ESDR from the Brics with even XRP. And what's crazy about that is that's the same exact solution that the IMF and even the World Bank and the UN have been pushing as well. So is Brics a legitimate problem, or is Brics becoming a problem in the way that they need something there to push us and guide us on the path to this new world of finance? And I've talked about this in the past. The pandemic, it was an accelerator for ditching the dollar, ditching, fiat currencies, going towards digital. That's what they are doing. Problem, reaction, solution. It's an old age tactic to push things. But regardless, here we have from Smoke Dog. Now, I did report on this slightly. We have few get it cross-border payments over a network using an ESDR. And here's how it works, right? It's at the center point. Now, beyond this, we have this post from Mr. Man XRP. The Brics consideration into an ESDR. It's being suggested as the only solution. Check it out.
Collaterals by the shadow banks would be basically under control. So we can have a solution. We have this solution, and CBDC are presently the way to jump due to this big technology, which would allow to fabricate without any cost a new SDR, an eSDR, no cost to bundle, to compose the basket, contrary to the present system, where making a private SDR is costly because the market is underdeveloped. But if we use the DLT tokenization, it's instantaneous, costless, and this could be the basis for making central bankers to jump and to decide to authorize IMF to issue eSDR, and so we'll have a multilateral lender of last resort with the possibility to manage the basis of the global liquidity in a counter-cyclical way. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for being long. You will have the detail in my presentation.
And I know that that was a little bit hard to understand considering the fact that he was lagging throughout the video. It was a little choppy, but regardless, right? Like tokenization is the big term that they have been pushing with a lot of things focused on global liquidity. DLT is the big focus point. Like that's at the center point. Technology and this revolution happening around payment systems, payment networks, it's all in process right now. But this entire thing breaks down everything happening around, the technological revolution, aka the fourth and the fifth industrial revolution. But then we also talk about a neutral instrument system for global liquidity management. And that's where we really kind of focus on DLT that has that global liquidity process behind it, aka on-demand liquidity, of course, with the help of what Ripple has been creating. But all of this is fully focused on what we have been addressing when it comes to global liquidity and ESDRs. The Brics around an ESDR, they're labeling this as the only solution, and it really takes me back to what the United Nations were pushing in terms of that intra-supranational currency, which would be the reserve currency or the bridge currency at the heart of this new system that is providing liquidity and providing a settlement mechanism. It's kind of crazy to think about, but realistically speaking, where are we headed right now? Change is happening. The fiat system is broken, and it continues to break day by day. Now, also, Smoke Dog did put out this post. Now, I did address this slightly, right, with these images where you have the ESDR at the center point, and this is with NIPS. You also have all of the currencies there. You have the SDR basket and the new unit of account on the bottom. Again, look at the focus of where that SDR is. On the right side, we also have can hold Ripple's digital asset on their own balance sheets. Instead, banks should consolidate liquidity into one pool, thus only making markets between its domestic currency and globally distributed digital asset, often referred to as a universal bridge asset. Like when we hear these things, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane. We're questioning if everything that we're seeing and everything that we're hearing is real. But realistically, when you look at what's happening, liquidity is a big problem. Liquidity has been, it's been drying up slightly. And when I say slightly, I mean it's been drying up. We've been focused on the big banks. A lot of banks are right now in critical mode, right? And with Basel III, a lot of problems happen around liquidity. There's the liquidity constrictions. But then when you look at nostril vaso accounts, right? Trapped liquidity. What's unlocking that? Ripple with XRP can do that. This is where things are starting to make sense, and where a lot of these ideas or these tinfoil hat theories, they're actually starting to make sense now. And again, like this is why I don't write off any theory. This is why I don't write off anything that we've been hearing or reading, because it all really does make sense. Now, here we have over here from Credit Suisse, we're headed into a new paradigm. And this is at a World Economic Forum-like meeting from the Brics on June 22nd, 2022. And this is regarding the G7 of the East. This is President Putin. He noted that the creation of an international reserve currency based on a basket of currencies of our countries is being worked on. Now, they do talk a little bit about Brics coin. Again, I don't know if Brics coin is going to work, but they are regarding the development of an international reserve currency, institutionalized commodity incumbents. And then also we have down here, should a nation reserve a portion of its natural resources for the backing of the new economic system? This would be an ESDR technically. Its respective weight in the currency basket of the new monetary unit would increase accordingly, providing that nation with larger currency reserves and credit capacity. Bilateral swap lines as well with trading partner countries would provide them with adequate financing for co-investments and trade financing. And it seems to me that new paradigms come in pairs. So again, this is very interesting. Such an ESDR would, in a sense, be the quintessential reserve asset because it would be fully backed by reserve currencies. And this is from the IMF regarding the ratio regarding it. And we also have down here that to the end, a politically neutral body owned by the private sector or central banks. Now, that is very interesting because the private sector, remember, Ripple is a private company, should be established to issue the asset. Participating central banks and asset managers would then have to swap their reserve currency holdings for an ESDRs. In the longer term, an international financial center such as London or Hong Kong could spearhead experimentation with ESDRs using blockchain technology, with special swap facilities being created to make the asset more liquid. This is an absolute bombshell statement if I've ever heard one. And when we think about this, right, like a financial center such as London or Hong Kong, those are two areas that Ripple has been fully focused on and also working heavily with in terms of the Digital Pound Foundation or even the Hong Kong Monetary Authority on the EHKD. You cannot make this up. And by the way, they have been experimenting with the EHKD in Hong Kong from Ripple on tokenization of real estate. The writing is already there on the wall. Now, also over here, we have from Mr. Intuitive, BlackBerry XRP. He posted this back in January. We have IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. Crypto is not exactly money. Listen closely to this.
Is what we see in crypto. What is the IMF's view on crypto in what looks to be a very unique moment for this investable asset?
Our view is that we have to differentiate between money and assets. When we talk about crypto, we are actually talking about an asset class. It could be backed up and in that sense more secure, less risky, or it could be not backed up and therefore a riskier investment. But it is not exactly money. It's more like a money managed fund. So when we look at money, there we have the central bank digital currencies, and they are indeed a digitalized form of money. Is it possible to have the private sector play a role in this area? Yes, of course. Private sector has played a role throughout the history of money. But we have to be very careful to inform the public about what exactly in front of them the private sector has placed. I like the notion that we can enhance the payment systems with private sector participation, but we have to be careful not to mislead the public that crypto is equivalent in all cases of money.
Now, again, I actually agree with this statement because when we really look at crypto, crypto is technology. This is technology at the end of the day, not money. And what's funny about this is what she's describing, it technically sounds like she's describing an ESDR. And if we are talking about holding an ESDR, right? Like even down here, they're even talking about holdings for ESDRs. Like this is all regarding holding those ESDRs or an SDR itself. And it takes me back to this video where I posted it back in September, actually. And I said, when I come back to this video, it's so clear that Ripple has already won. Many people will say it's an old video or it's a nothing video. They're the same ones that say all the private meetings with central banks / global elite organizations are nothing too. You have numerous documents from the World Bank, the BIS, the IMF, and various other organizations that mention Ripple and XRP. Most of these documents only mention Ripple and XRP too, which should tell you something. Call it speculation, call it whatever. In my opinion, XRP will be a big piece of the restructuring of our global system. Listen closely to this video.
Can you see those? there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to
So there you guys have it. And again, holding cryptocurrencies at the IMF, again, it feels as though the plan has already been in place for a very long time regarding holding these crypto assets, because they're not technically money, they're technology. They could back systems. They could become a significant piece of the system. And I feel as though we're headed towards a world of the unknown, where SDRs could be crypto, ESDRs could be crypto, XRP could be an ESDR. We're valuing these things in dollars, but I feel as though we shouldn't be. I don't think that that is the case, but a significant change is underway. You know, if the Brics are pushing this ESDR idea, if we've already started to see these discussions regarding ESDRs, specifically even from the IMF, it makes me think that all of this is, you know, getting pieced together. It's all coming together, and it's all a part of the same exact plan. And even, you know, this discussion here from Smoke, where we have Brics payment system based on basket of currencies and blockchain, Ripple XRP consolidate liquidity into one pool of basket of currencies, ESDR fully backed by reserve currencies issued by private sector using blockchain. Like, when you piece all of this together, it seems as though the ecosystem, I mean, like, it's all here. Now, call it crazy, call it whatever you want. There's no denying the fact that Ripple has already been in discussions with a lot of these individuals that are a part of this move. Like, for example, those organizations like the IMF, the World Bank, I mean, the BIS, they're already working with Ripple. So we are underway in terms of this fundamental shift, and it's going to be one of the largest changes out there. And I wouldn't write off the idea of XRP or even the XRP ledger being utilized at some point in time by even Brics or just globally. I mean, global use of Ripple, specifically on-demand liquidity or even Ripple payments, you know, because it got rebranded, it's already been happening slowly. But remember that Ripple is already in discussions with 20 to 30 central banks, and I feel as though we're getting to that point of major change. It might take some more time, right? It might take a few years, but I know what I'm holding in terms of the technology stack, and I know where we're headed in terms of the technology as well. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.